Hello everyone! How is everyone doing today? If you're new here, hi, my name is Jewel, and if you've been around for a while, welcome back. It's been a hot minute. So, yeah, it's been about 5 months since I last posted a video, which is honestly kind of wild to say out loud. You know, life has definitely decided to life to the extreme during that time, and I figured instead of just randomly popping back up like nothing happened, I'd sit down and give you all a proper catch-up. And this isn't a drama video, there's no tea to spill, it is just a genuine life update. Some reflection, and me trying to slowly get back into the swing of things as we head into 2026, you know, which is already here and is happening way faster than I'm emotionally prepared for. I've had so much change happen in such a short amount of time, and honestly, I want 2026 to be a positive, productive, and a way healthier year for me, so consider this video as sort of a reset. Before I get into the heavier life stuff, let's talk about what's happening on screen. If you're curious about what I'm drawing in the background, yeah, I fell back into Has-Been Hotel after Season 2 came out in November, and honestly, no regrets. This was originally just meant to be a sort of warm-up sketch, one of those no pressure, no expectations drawings that, you know, you do when you're trying to get your hands moving again. But I ended up liking it enough that I thought, you know what, I haven't recorded a speed paint in ages. Let's just do that. I don't know if this counts as a redraw or a doodle or something kind of in between, but either way, I think the point that you all know is, you know, how much I adore Alastor. You know, like a completely normal and reasonable amount, obviously. Yeah, fandom art has always been a comfort thing for me, especially during stressful periods. It helps me reconnect with art without that voice in my head telling me that it has to be perfect or useful or productive, which, you know, is a problem that I have suffered from, so, you know what, no pressure. So yeah, this speed paint, it just kind of represents me slowly finding my way back into creating again. So, to really start this story, we have to go back to, like, early October, you know, near end of September, maybe even a little bit sooner than that. Around that time, I had a bit of an epiphany, you could say, a realization, a something has to change or I'm going to combust moment. At the time, I was working 2 lower income jobs simultaneously, trying to keep up with life expenses, expectations, and just existing. And while I was technically surviving, it was costing me legitimately everything else. My time, my energy, my physical health, and very much my mental health. I was constantly exhausted, constantly scrambling, and I didn't really have time for anything that made me feel like me, including any arts or crafts or gaming with the best friends or even to rest. And eventually my workplace informed me about a program that they had that could sponsor additional education. And once I realized that was an option, I decided to take a leap and go for it. So, I guess, long story short, I ended up enrolling in a 3-week class that would qualify me for a significantly higher paying position. And when I say higher paying, I mean about nearly $10 more per hour compared to my previous average. And the class itself wasn't necessarily hard, but it was night classes. So my schedule became work all day, immediately go to class, go home, sleep, and then repeat. For like 3 weeks straight. Safe to say I lived off energy drinks, caffeine, and pure spite, and I had zero leisure time, no creative energy, and absolutely no space for art. But as exhausting as it was, I kept telling myself this is going to be temporary, and this is for future me. There is one more really important thing that happened during the time I was gone that I want to talk about. And if you've been on this channel for a while, you probably knew my bird, Boomer. Boomer had been with me for 4 years, and she was such a huge part of my daily life, and she had her own wonderful little chaotic personality, her own routines, and honestly, she was just always there. Unfortunately, during these past 5 months, I lost her. I'm not gonna go into details about how or why, it's still something that's really hard for me, but I do want to acknowledge it because losing her genuinely broke my heart. When you have a pet for so long, especially one that's a part of your everyday routine, the silence afterward is really, really loud. There were so many moments where I caught myself expecting to hear her or instinctively check up on her, only to remember that she was gone, and that kind of grief sneaks up on you in ways you don't expect. You know, Boomer wasn't just a bird, she was my companion, and losing her was one of the hardest emotional hits during an already overwhelming period of my life. So I wanted to take a moment here and honor her because she mattered, and she still does. And, you know, then life did what it tends to do. It keeps moving forward. And after some time had passed, and actually rather recently, and after a lot of thinking, I ended up welcoming a new little soul into my life. And meet Scotty, who you may actually hear in the background batting at a ball that she has. Oh my god, she's so cute. So meet Scotty. Scotty is my new cat, and she came into my life during a time when I honestly wasn't sure I was ready for another pet. But sometimes, you know, the right things happen when you don't fully expect them to. She has been a completely different kind of presence. She's been really comforting and grounding for me, and honestly just as chaotic as I am. Which, I hate to admit it, but I really did need it. She's helped fill the quiet in my space again, and having someone to care for has given me a sense of routine and warmth that I didn't realize I was really missing so much. And of course, getting Scotty doesn't replace my baby Boomer, nothing ever could, but she's become her own part of my life, and I'm really grateful to have her here with me as I move into this new year and this new chapter of my life. And hey, if you'd like, I might even include her in future videos. Whether she wants to be on camera or not is a different question entirely, but we'll have to work on it. And you absolutely can hear her in the background. She's very, very silly. Alright. Completely lost track of the plot here. On top of, all of that, I made another huge decision. I decided I wanted to move. So, because of the work sponsorship, another building within the same company offered me a full-time position once my classes were completed, and that opportunity came with a big change of scenery. I ended up moving an hour and a half away from where I had been living, and this was my first move entirely on my own. Thankfully, I had an incredible amount of help from friends and family. Truly, I cannot stress enough how grateful I am for that. Moving is stressful enough, but going out on your own for the first time, yeah, I absolutely needed as much support as I could get. It's been about maybe 2 months now, and I can kind of confidently say that I'm settled. Yeah, I'm finally settled. I have my routines, my space feels like mine, and that alone has made a massive difference. Now, before I move on, I do want to touch on something a bit more serious. I'm not going to go into specifics, what it is, or how it happened, but I do feel it's important to be honest with you all. Over the past few months, I also discovered that I have some fairly significant mental health issues. Part of it is related to a hormone imbalance, which I'm currently working on getting under control, and another part comes from things in my life that I have never fully addressed and instead heavily repressed. And let me just say this now, repression works until it just doesn't. It doesn't. Eventually, everything catches up to you. And this has been a big impact on my productivity and my ability to stick to schedules. Some days are great, and you know, everything goes as planned, and other days, everything just goes out the window. And I'm having to learn to be okay with that. I'll be super Dutch honest with you. It's been a struggle. It has been one of the hardest periods of my life, honestly. But I can also say with genuine hope that things are getting better now that I'm addressing them properly and I've started moving on. There are still hard days, and there are still moments where everything just feels overwhelming. But going into 2026, I feel something that I haven't felt in a while, and that's optimism. I want to invest in myself, I want to create without pressure, and I want to do more of what actually makes me happy. And more than anything, I want this channel to reflect that. If you've stuck around through this entire video, truly thank you. Your patience and your support and kindness means so much more than you probably realize. I don't want to promise rigid schedules or unrealistic expectations. I just want to show up more authentically and create when I can and bring you along as I figure things out. So if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe and stick around if you want to join me on this next chapter and see more of what I'm going to be getting up to. Honestly, thank you for being here, and please do take care of yourselves going into this new year, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!